stir that up in there a little bit.
You're like a ramen doctor.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to the 7th episode of DeltaCo Fireteam Chat, also known as No Face's Salt Emporium. I'm AudioReborn. Today we have Krakenfall, and of course we got No Face, and we have a very, well, I wouldn't even say guest, more of like he's kind of a regular now. We got RoninLD.
Woohoo.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Doing well.
I
Great.
would argue with the title, but I don't think I can.
That would make you salty.
Damn it, it is. It's like a catch-22.
Yeah, that would make you salty. And we don't want you to be more salty than you already are.
That's all
So-
I've got left, man.
Awesome. So, like we get started here, just some weekly highlights. Want to go around the table, kind of just talk about our week in Destiny so far. I'm gonna go ahead and just nip this in the butt. I have barely played Destiny 2 this week. I did my milestones, and that's about it.
So I had an exciting time. What was that? 2 nights ago, I actually got to run a raid with Kraken, and that was actually Kraken came down to console. He came down from his PC throne and played some raid with us, which was pretty awesome.
I got used to it after about maybe an hour. You know, the first hour of failing at the baths.
And your eyes weren't bleeding.
Right, and then I got used to it, and I was like, I think I'm okay.
I didn't play Iron Banner. I thought about it, but I don't know. I just couldn't do it. I didn't do any of the weekly stuff from last week either, and I may not do them again this week. Like at this point, I feel like there's no point for me. I look on Destiny sets and I have most everything. I mean, there's some armor pieces and sets that I'm missing, but like there isn't a need to do the Nightfall or anything like that. I did the Prestige raid again, and it was more difficult this week than last week for whatever reason. It took us like 3 hours to beat Callus, which was kind of crazy. But yeah, just the raid and Prestige, and I think at this point I'm gonna try to branch out and maybe try to get more people through it if they want to. So
Excellent.
I'm looking at you, Kraken, tonight.
I'm going to be there.
Sweet. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Also, I remember on Saturday, I also came down from my PC throne, and I turned on my console, and nobody was on all day. Literally all day. I kept turning it on. Nobody was there. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll go back to PC then.
Do I need to give you the explanation that I gave Kraken last week? That like if you want to play, all you
Please.
gotta do is like at No Face, hey, console buddy, you want to play?
Actually, you were. I even went into the main chat and I said, "Hey, I'm hopping on PC. Does anybody want to play?" And you were like, "Oh man, I'll be home in like X amount of hours." And guess what? You weren't on.
Oh.
So
That's because I don't have it on PC.
Yeah.
I'm talking about console.
Hang on,
But
I'm
you
going
said
through the
PC.
chat. I'm
Yeah,
finding this out.
this is on Saturday.
Well,
It's only like 7
Anyway.
zillion messages.
but
We're going to devolve into...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
yeah, well, and that actually kind of is a good segue into what I was going to at least talk about on my update. I'm going to keep it light on the Crucible because I had a little bit more to talk about because we got a lot to cover. But yeah, this week I raided with some console buddies. We had a big discussion in the main clan chat about participation and the fact that people weren't there, and some people were unfortunate, were upset that less people were playing, and they kind of had this tone of like, oh, I'm still playing Destiny and I'm still having fun with Destiny, why aren't more people playing Destiny? And
Right.
it was like, and it kind of, we started talking about like why people get engaged and why Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1 isn't as engaging, and it was a really healthy discussion. It was really good. And the point that I made, I don't remember. There were some other good points that I wanted to mention, but I'm forgetting them right now. But the point that I made was that engagement is what's going to get you involved with other players. Destiny 2 is terrible at getting people together and keeping them together. So if we as a clan want to remain active, then we're going to have to take an active role in playing with each other, and that includes direct call-outs like No Face, I'm on console. Hey, No Face, do you need a buddy to play with? I'll mention you in chat. And like if you want people to raid with you, then you're going to have to actually call some people out. People that maybe you think have played the raid lately, people maybe that you've never played with before or haven't played with this week. So I just encourage everyone in the clan to do that. You know,
Oh yeah.
obviously everyone has a life,
Right.
so
I
you
don't.
yeah, so you know, accommodate that if they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I've said no 3 times in a row when you've asked. Like that's okay because maybe there are 3 unlucky times, but it's unfortunately it's going to take a little bit more work to remain active in the clan and playing with buddies. But honestly, that's the point I think I made a couple of podcasts ago. Like if anybody on console actually mentioned me and said, "Hey, do you want to raid or do you want to play this or that?" I probably would have jumped on console like right away. I love playing with tacos, and I know that other people are like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. Like, honestly, probably the funnest thing I've done in a while is, man, this had to be Tuesday, I guess, on Reset. I just happened to be on, and Lane pulled me into a party with him, Speed, and then Husker wasn't actually in our fire team, but he was drunk and kept popping in and out of our party.
That's
and,
awesome.
like, we ran public events for probably an hour, just, talking about random crap and, blowing stuff up, and it was a blast. And it had nothing to do with the fact that I was, getting 2 tokens in the blue, but it was just the fact that, like, I was having fun with my friends playing Destiny. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that, Kraken, and I will totally have to start calling you out more. And Audio, I searched through dozens of messages, and definitely didn't, go back far enough to find that message. But if I did you over on the on missing out on some party time, I do apologize, and you can berate me later.
Yeah, I think the issue with this approach that I'm sort of championing is that if you don't get a response, that's kind of a loose thread. So I guess be prepared for no responses. But if you can give a response and you can't do it, please say, "Oh, sorry, I can't," because that's better than shouting shouting it into an empty room or feeling like you're shouting it into an empty room. But we're obviously not. That entire discussion involved like 30 people. Like a bunch of people piped in, especially people that aren't even in the clan anymore. Like they were just, hanging around. Hopefully we can get those people back in the clan though. I'm kind of cross my fingers.
Yeah. Well, that conversation is why I made that raid tonight because they says we play more people, which is true, and I think at this point I've been playing with certain guys to get the prestige raid done. So that conversation spurred me to create tonight's raid, hoping more people would join and stuff. So
yeah, and I actually kind of not excluded, but I made an exception for the prestige raid guys because, I mean, personally for me, when I played the raid, it was just a slog. Like the first time I played the raid, it was annoying. I was having to step in the role as Sherpa, and I'm not a good Sherpa. I can help you through a PvP match, and I can be a solid raid, +1. But like as far as like teaching and mentor, like in helping people figure it out and giving directions, I don't have a really good track record of that. So that was really frustrating. The raid was just awful. Now, like last night or the other night, that was super fun. Like people would tell me the directions, and I'd do them, and I'd make sure I do them. Kermit can tell you, I screwed up a bunch, but when I actually understood the directions, I'll make sure that I'm doing it personally. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, play with tacos.
Kind of wish GroupMe had a at everyone.
Me too.
Like Discord, so that way everybody would see it.
And I actually looked at making TacoBot add that functionality, and it would be ugly. It wasn't a good. There's no good way to do it.
Spamming the message over and over.
Yeah, Discord has it, and I'm actually I know that there has been a bit of pushback on transition to Discord because we have a DeltaCo 71 Discord.
Right.
There's actually like probably half the clan or third of the clan is in there. And I was thinking about making a YouTube video of, hey guys, this is Discord. Here's what's cool about it. Here are the things that are different than GroupMe. Here's how you can do the same things that you do in GroupMe in Discord, and just like having both a smartphone capture of the smartphone app and a YouTube capture of or a desktop capture of the actual app. Because I think once people actually see it, it's super cool.
Yeah. I think it'd be really more beneficial for the clan in general.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about some news. No face.
Oh man.
Way
You
off.
want to take it away?
Okay, so as I'm sure most everyone knows, on Thursday, instead of having a live stream, we ended up getting a press release of sorts.
Wednesday.
Basically, where Bungie was talking about what they were going to be trying to do with Destiny 2. Basically, instead of, I want to say Luke Smith said, this isn't a direct quote, but he basically said that right now communication is way more important than any parade of armor could ever be for Destiny 2, which I probably agree with him. But they addressed a bunch of stuff, and so we're going to go ahead and try and break down some of the stuff they talked about. So they did say that their priorities right now are deepening rewards for the advanced players, the people who want to, quote, make Destiny their hobby, things they come back to over and over. They want to deepen rewards for those people. Provide more player control over obtaining rewards. Make shards more useful. Basically give you more places to spend the zillions of shards that you have just wasting space in your inventory right now. And also they talked about how they want to make general quality of life fixes whenever and wherever they can. And then they also did go into what those sort of things were. They kind of put out a skeleton of the timeline they want to go through. So it is important to note that on this, they are not, like, Curse of Osiris comes out this week on the 5th. Not all these updates are going to be in the Curse of Osiris. They're breaking it up. They basically got 3 categories of timeline they said they were going to bring things up in their... There's 3 different times they're going to cause these updates.
Yeah.
They said they were going to have them on December 5th, December 12th. Those are actual release dates, and they did give certain things they were going to release on those times. And then they've got stuff that they say, oh, this is planned for early 2018. So they've got some stuff that's a bit more nebulous on the timeline, which, make what you will of that. But I guess the first thing we're going to talk about is the December 5th updates. What's all coming with the December 5th updates. So the first thing that they talked about, which some of you will recognize a lot of these actually as being things that are coming back from Destiny 1, there are going to be ornaments coming back for factions, including Vanguard, Crucible, Iron Banner. Also, all your armor ornaments are coming back. Mods, they're going to change up vendors significantly, and again, this is going to look a lot more like Destiny 1. Mods are going to be directly purchasable from Banshee, from your weapons dealer. Right. They're going to change up how mods work ever so slightly as well, as far as how you can buy them, what you need to dismantle, what your price for them is, things like that. Raul will start selling legendary engrams, again, coming back from D1. Now, and this is something that I'm kind of glad to see. They're going to kind of tweak how tokens drop, as well as how much rep they give you with each faction. So your destination tokens, like your IO tokens, things like that, are going to be increased, and then the rep when you turn them in is going to be increased both for the token engrams and for the destination materials, like your planet materials, like the dusk shards and spin foil. I have no idea what they're actually called in D2 anymore, because I don't normally pick them up. And then also, one of the things that, I'm not sure where I stand on this, but they talked about how the Benedict bot, how you used to have to, or I guess currently you have to complete the raid to turn in any of your tokens to him. Now they're going to make it as soon as you earn tokens from the raid, you can go directly to Benedict bot and turn those in for your raid rewards. So that's what's coming in December 5th. What are our thoughts there?
Well, from what I see, I feel like that these are going to be things that they're like, hey, we're going to put this in the game. This is baseline to start, and I think they're just going to build up on that. They're going to be like, we're going to put it in the game. We're going to see how it works. Fix what you don't like, keep what you like.
Ronin, what do you think about any of these? You got any specific gripes or things you're happy about?
Oh, sorry. My mic was on mute. I mean, armor ornaments are cool because we had them before, and it's nice to have them back again. But like the other stuff, I have no problems right now getting mods or getting tokens or getting gear. So I don't know, like for this, a lot of this, okay, yeah, it sounds cool, but it's not really going to affect my day-to-day Destiny, which makes me a little sad. I feel like maybe newer players, it'll be great for them. But where I'm at right now in Destiny, this has no impact really whatsoever on my playstyle. Like I have mods, a lot of mods. I have like 7 impact mods that I'm sitting on because I have nothing to spend them on. Because I did the whole grinding, I did the whole thing where I have all the mods that I really need. So yeah, it's cool. I can purchase some, but I don't really need them. And again, I could go on a segue about how mods aren't really impactful in the game. They don't really let you customize and stuff, which kind of sucks. Like, but I'll talk about that at the end. But yeah, it's nice for new people. I feel. Ornaments are always good for letting customization. Although gear is another issue. But so yeah, so I mean, yes, it sounds nice, but this for me, it's not impacting me, and I guess I'm more of like on the hobbyist or the whatever the other skill that they presented. So this doesn't really do anything for me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you were saying that you had like your Destiny sets were like almost all done. You are among the elite hardcore, in my opinion. So you have almost maxed out. Like actually, all of the RNG loot pools mean nothing to you at this point.
So like when you say sets, are you talking about like
armor sets?
Armor sets. So you're talking about like all the planetary armor sets, or
are you not?
Like,
here, because there's well, I guess I'm talking more about like weapons, I guess. Gear wise, there's still some that I could still collect, but it's all mobility gear, so I don't really care about it.
Oh, right.
See, for me, it's like I would consider myself a hobbyist, but a very casual hobbyist. So like, I don't have a lot of time for raids. I don't have a lot of time for nightfalls, but I do get on every day and I do all the challenges on all of the planets. So what I've been doing to keep myself busy is I will go and I will grind EDZ until I have every piece of that armor set, and then I'm gonna go to each planet and I'm gonna do the same thing. So this right here with the token system, that might benefit me like just a little bit.
Yeah, but and I guess I mean, I was doing that, but then I was like, I don't know what happened, but I came to a point like, what's the point, because really the way the game is set up, unfortunately, the only gear that is really beneficial, you really see any sort of benefit from, is restorative gear. And unfortunately, a lot of gear is mobility. And especially on hunters, man, that sucks for them. And my hunters always had a 5 or at a 6 not resilience, recovery. But that's as high as you'll go because of the armor sets and stuff.
And don't forget that the boots are bugged on every hunter, so they don't actually give the stats they should.
Right.
Yeah, but like
which
I have
not been mentioned by Bungie. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the sets. I have most of the weapons. There's a couple that I don't have. Some of the faction stuff because of RNG. Some of the gunsmith ones because again RNG, like Antiope is one that I haven't gotten. And like I want to collect like the IO gears, one of the ones that I really want. But after like training in like 300 tokens and not getting the stuff that I needed, I was kind of like, you know what, that's ridiculous. Let me rephrase it. So maybe I might. Oh no, but this doesn't talk about being able to buy gear. That's different area. But
No, that is they are the vendors are being changed so that you can directly buy gear.
that's not in this update though.
That's in the 12th update, yeah.
That's in the 12th
Yeah,
update.
okay, yeah.
Yes,
So-
we'll cover
fair
that
enough,
in a second.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So like I said, this update doesn't do much for me, and I need to look. I need to see how much I've played. I feel like I haven't played that long, but I must have to be able to have. And my vault is at 194 right now, and I don't think I have any duplicates. So-
You've been playing 2 raids a week, and that's at least 10 hours. So
Wow.
however many weeks, 3 months, that's 12 weeks,
Yeah,
120 hours minimum. If you played any more than that, then yeah, you're up there.
Yeah. So,
And that's so I shared this with Audio and Kraken after the podcast last week. But because I'm completely with you on this, a lot of these things I don't feel like are aimed or will not really affect us, because despite the fact that we always call ourselves, casuals, I did the math last week. I didn't look it up this week, but all 3 of us, me, Audio, Kraken, and Ronin. I'm sorry I didn't look up your numbers.
Mhm.
But we're averaging between 2.5 and 3 hours a day since Destiny's been released.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't really feel like that falls into the casual category. So, yeah, I don't see. I'm kind of with you. I don't see these affecting my day-to-day Destiny too much after the first 4 or 5 hours. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I definitely played most of that in the first month, maybe the first 2 months. I'm pretty sure I put in some 15-hour weekends at the very minimum, and 3 hours a night for that time, and it just really has tapered off. Even with the PC, I kind of have chilled out a lot. So these updates for me are. So I mean, this is how I look at it. Given the timeline of the community unrest and the, okay, we finished the content about 6 to 8 weeks after most of the community had finished the content, and then things started to really get stale quick, and then people started getting bitter about it. Then people started doing work. They started writing articles. They started measuring the systems. They started taking making empirical analyses of the systems and actually coming up with quantitative arguments for why Destiny 2 sucks. Bungie's plus the XP debacle, which is a serious stain on Bungie's PR.
Yeah.
And that's just reading some of the articles from PC Gamer, where PC Gamer didn't play Destiny 1. They're pretty much all new characters, so they've got that perspective. And they're talking this isn't good. This really isn't good. So Bungie's holy shit, or excuse me, holy crap, we need to do something. And so what I think they did, knowing from software development and at least a little bit of how it's engineered, from the podcast that Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, I believe it was either Mark Noseworthy or someone else. They did a Bungie podcast right after the state of the game update came out, and I listened to that. I won't explain all of it now, but basically they said that some things can be edited with a config on the server, and a config is just a text file with a bunch of settings. And they can edit it on the server, and they don't need to touch the clients, which is the actual disk or the installation on your Xbox or your PS4 or PC. Sometimes they can do it really easily. They just update it behind the scenes and it's done. But sometimes they actually have to release something, and it's 3 lines of code that are changed. And to get it actually out to the consoles and out to the end user, they have to do 3 weeks of testing. They have to do QA analysis. They have to do then Xbox live. I don't know if they do the actual Xbox Live validation, or patches don't require that. I don't know how that validation goes, but it's you make 3 lines of code, a change that's 3 lines of code, and then you wait 6 weeks to actually deploy it. Yeah. So what I think in the December 5th updates, these are all things that are probably configs. These are all things these are the things where they, crap their pants and said, we got to do something fast. So token drops, probably server config. Rep required for token engrams, probably server config. Every time you press that button to redeem a token, that's a request, a web request that goes out to their servers and says, okay, this is the transaction. Okay, let's resolve this, and then send them the updated value for the progress bar for the reputation, and whether or not there's an engram drop. So that's probably server config. Mods purchasable from Bungie, that's probably client config or client change. Rahul selling engrams, that's probably client change. Honor ornaments, that's actual content that they have to deliver to the console. So a lot, like half the list is stuff that they just like, oh shoot, we need to change this.
The server side stuff.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah. And then the other half is stuff that they probably already planned. And I think that's gonna work out at least a little bit for the December 12th. December 12th, which I'll talk about on my turn. But so you're right, Ronan. It's not really going to count for us because those are all those aren't core changes. Those aren't changes to all the things that we've talked about in the past where we're unhappy with them. At least for the Kraken token hate. Tokens are dropping more often, and that's part of. I'm not going to go into why I hate tokens, but at least
because then I'll have to go into why I hate random rolls.
They can listen to
and we'll be here all night.
They can listen to the older episodes if they want to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But at least if we have more tokens, then it's a little better. I just wish we didn't have. Never mind.
I just want to go get a bathtub and just fill it up with tokens, and then just lay in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And take a picture of it.
Scrooge McDuck style.
Yeah, right.
If they gave us a bathtub of tokens every time we finished an activity, maybe I'd feel like they were worth it. But
okay,
we should.
So before we get too deep into the salt here, because trust me, I have my own here that I'm kind of reserving until we get through the December 12th updates. Which, in my opinion, the December 12th updates do add some more of the more substantial changes, probably more of the content and client-side changes that, like, Kraken was just talking about. And so just to real quickly go through what those are, the Masterworks system is going to start. And what the Masterworks system is basically a system whereby legendary engrams will drop for Guardians over 250 life, or power, or whatever it is now. And basically what that does is the Masterworks has a chance to give you a bonus stat, not a perk. Like, make sure that's really important. It gives you a chance to increase a stat, and those are going to be re-rollable and dismantleable and all that sort of stuff. Raid and Trials gear are going to have a higher chance of having Masterworks, so it's not guaranteed that your legendary gear will have Masterworks or be Masterworkable. Or whatever the verb for that would be, I'm not sure.
So let me interject here real quick. So the Masterworks isn't just a weapon stat bonus that's random drop, like randomly rolled. It's also tracking displaying the number of kills with that weapon.
Right.
With a choice between a total count or Crucible only count. So they are letting you see like Crucible versus Vanguard, or total, I should say. And then they also generate orbs when you get multi-kills. So like Masterworks are complete reworking. Well, not complete, but it's a reworking of a valuable piece of gear. So
it's an addition. Like, it's not changing the nature of the weapon. It's just adding a feature to it.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Correct.
And I think the perks are re-rollable, right?
Not the perks, the stat bonus.
The stat bonus.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
sorry,
right. Yeah,
it's a small number.
Yeah.
They said it's a small selection.
We're probably going to keep saying perks, but when we say perks, we mean stats. And what stats is, is like reload time, accuracy, range,
exactly.
Those sort of stats on your weapon, not like Third Eye or Firefly or something like that, because that would be cool, and we can't have that.
Because when I heard stat change, I instantly thought of the Division. Whenever you could go and you can pay so much currency, and you could just reroll your stats on your gear.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be like that.
No, yeah, not as drastic. It's just the example I saw was plus 10 to handling.
Mm-hmm.
Was the weapon. I think it was Uriel's that they were showcasing, or they showed. So I mean that honestly, actually I'll wait. Go ahead and continue. No.
Yeah.
Oh right. So, and the Masterworks is probably going to be like the meat of what we talk about, because the rest of it
Quality of
is
life.
just basically purchasable faction gear. So all those tokens that Kraken loves so much, he'll have something to do with them when he goes to his faction vendors. Again, it's going to be very similar to how Destiny 1 was, where you would show up, and if you had if you were ranked 0 with the faction, you wouldn't be able to buy anything. But as you ranked up, you could buy the chest piece or the boots or whatever it happened to be, and then those will rotate on a weekly basis. So basically, if you played Destiny 1, it's almost the exact same system. But instead of having a bunch of different things, you're going to be using tokens and shards as your currencies. Xur is going to have a few little changes. He's going to have what are known as faded engrams. And what that is, if there is an exotic out there that you have not gotten before, you can buy a faded engram. And if I remember correctly, the price on those is 97 shards, so they're not cheap. But you can buy a faded engram once per week, and they didn't say if that was once per account or once per character, but once per week, and it will give you an exotic weapon or an exotic piece of armor or weapon item. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. That you do not already own. And now that I've said that, I'm not sure if that also what all that includes, because is it going to give us things like Acreus or things that are quests attached to it? I would think not, but they didn't state that. They weren't real clear on that, so that's kind of up in the air.
Probably not.
I assume it's only stuff that can currently be decrypted from an exotic engram,
Only
and
the
an
stuff you
Acreus
can-
cannot.
I would
Yeah.
think so, but
Yeah.
again, they didn't say
It's
one
not,
way or the
it's
other.
not quest related. It's not, it's just anything that you would get out of a regular exotic engram.
Right. And if you liked 3 of Coins in Destiny 1, they're coming back, but they're going to be much more simplified. There's no more stacking mechanics on 3 of Coins. The way they're going to work is they're basically going to think about a Fireteam medallion where it's a time-based shindig, and that's how 3 of Coins is going to work. You pop a 3 of Coins, it lasts for 4 hours, and you have a better chance at getting exotic loot.
And it's not just you, it's your entire fire
ahead.
team. Even if they're not in your actual fire team, like if you just go and you play a Crucible match or randoms, if you have one popped, they all get the reward. Like just, not the same reward, but like they all have this increased reward across the board.
I believe that's separate from 3 of Coins. If I remember correctly, that is a gift medallion or something to that effect, where basically, it gives everyone in your party, and if you're in Crucible, everyone on the opposite team as well, a chance at loot. So basically anything from tokens to engrams, including possibly exotic engrams for all 8 people in your PvP match, which is kind of insane to me. But yeah, that's one of the things they're rolling out as well.
Is that it?
Oh, so and then there's just a few the quality of life thing, which I actually really like, is they're going to change it so you don't have like a little flashing icon next to the planet until you have enough tokens to turn in to actually get a rank.
Oh, thank God.
So if you've only got 3 tokens to turn in, it's not going to like flash at you and be like, hey, come turn in your tokens for not a rank. So that, in my opinion, is a really cool quality of life thing that should have been.
Yeah.
I don't know how that got past like testing, in-house testing, that no one noticed that was annoying.
It's like you go to turn it in, and they're like, "Psych!" Like,
Exactly.
That's cool though, man. Because every time I see that, I'm just like, I cannot go to orbit without turning this shit in. My postmaster is always clean. Everything, all the little green, just turn sideways squares. They're all taken care of, and I feel better about myself. Anyway,
I started ignoring them long ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, Masterworks, that's kind of cool. I like that. That's all right. I don't do raid or trials, so I mean, purchasable faction gear, that's great. I mean, but the one thing that I don't understand, like, we already get exotics, we already get gear really fucking fast. Why the fuck are you gonna give me something that gives it to me even quicker? Like, I don't understand. Like, the faded engram, why? Why is this a thing? I don't understand.
On top of that, they're going to be adding exotic duplicate protection. So I don't remember when this is coming.
That's
New
New Year's exotic
okay, yeah.
protection.
So they're going to be adding that, and that's going to make the faded engram, which, I mean, just to chime in on this one part before my turn, but I don't mind that, because on my PC account, I actually don't have that many exotics, and I've played a good 60 hours on it, and it was a very efficient playthrough. So I finished the campaign in probably less than 10 hours, and I leveled up to like 290 in probably less than 20 hours. So I'm kind of at the top for this character, and I don't have that many, so it's kind of nice. I like it because there are, like, I don't have Wardcliff Coil. I don't,
Right.
it'd be
I
nice
mean,
to get that.
I'm not
I
completely
have 2 of
against
those.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it, but I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Oh.
But I mean, everything else, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just kind of mad about it. Like, no big deal.
No, I'm with you, Audio, because, and this is what Audio is talking about is that everyone has given tokens and the reward system a ton of crap, and in my opinion, it's undeserved, because there's nothing wrong with a lot of the systems that are in Destiny 2. It's the loot. Like, for a looter shooter, quote unquote, there's not enough stuff in this game. And so, and then, like, you constantly get repeats and all sorts of stuff, so you'll have, in the first 30 hours, you get 59 of the 60 weapons, and you play another 100 and never get the 60th. And so I think that's actually a big reason why people are calling for random rolls, is because they've got everything already. And they knew if there were random rolls, there's going to be literally thousands of weapons for them to get again. And that takes forever. It's a solution, yeah. I don't think it's a good solution, but it is a solution. So I don't think there's a huge problem with the systems. So I'm with you, Audio. Like, it's the loot. Giving us more of the same stuff is not going to fix things, in my opinion.
No. But I mean, Masterworks. So I'll take my turn. Masterworks is, in my opinion, for my playstyle and my personal goals in playing Destiny, fantastic. That's awesome. That's something I'll grind for, and that's something that I think has a chance to maybe even upset the meta, depending on.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of guns that are kind of at the edge of being good, and having an extra stat boost might push it over. Oh, there's this hand cannon that does X amount of damage, and I can sliver a guy in 2 shots, but maybe with plus 10 damage, I'd be able to drop him in 2 shots, which is huge. Like, or maybe 3 shots, whatever. 3 to 4 shots, because I think that's the meta right now.
Just to chime in real quick on that part, do you think that Masterworks will have anything to do with what Luke Smith was talking about a while back, saying like on the like he used the example of Better Devils, like
either 10th or the second, third, or 10th drop, how to make that worthwhile.
Just out of speculation, do you think that might chime in, or they think it might have something to do?
They said that they were looking to expand the Masterworks, not program, but the Masterworks system beyond just this initial, entry. Yeah. And I think that's probably it. Maybe they're going to expand maybe going to do RNG stat quantity. So like how much a stat is improved or something. I don't want to go too into random rolls. But
no, man, you do your thing.
So I like random rolls, and I understand that No doesn't, and so we have a differing opinion. That's totally okay, as long as he's not offended by me liking them.
No, it is a free country. You are welcome to be
wrong. But
nice.
What random rolls did for a lot of people. So No was making the comment about the loot and how it's the loot's fault. If we get more of it, it's not going to help, and that's totally true. One of the things that Destiny 1 had going for it with random rolls is that essentially when you re-rolled a weapon's perks, it's an entirely different weapon. The rolls can the rolls can make or break the weapon. And so essentially we had like however many weapons, 300 weapons in Destiny 1 times however many possible rolls and roll slots or perks or perk slots you could have, permutate or combinations of weapons. So we had tens of thousands of weapons in Destiny 1. Essentially. I mean, if you look at that way, that's why I was fine with it personally. Because like if I got the wrong roll on a gun, that sucks. And even though like for instance, what was the crazy gun? I don't remember.
IS Luna.
Yes, IS Luna. I never got.
How did I know that?
Well, there was two. I was actually thinking of a different one that was
Grasp
later in the
Malik.
game, but no, not Grasp. I
Is
did
it
get a
the,
pretty good
is
Grasp.
it the Amago, the loop?
Imago Loop. Yes, I didn't get that one either, but what?
Malik?
No, it was another hand cannon. It doesn't matter. Those are
Anyway.
all great examples. So IS Luna, I never got a god roll IS Luna. The good thing about that is that there were many paths because of how many possible guns you could get in Destiny. Some of them had the same name, but that to me that didn't matter. You could for instance I used Hawksaw instead, and I got a god roll Hawksaw, and because they sold it like at the beginning of the Taken King, and I got it and I used it for the rest of my Destiny 1 career. Like it was awesome, and I could use that, and maybe in some cases where like hunters are just being stupid bitches and like vertical jumping and I couldn't really track them as well and I was really annoyed by them, screw hunters.
Well,
Fuck those
they're
hunters.
screwed in Destiny too, so don't worry about it.
Well, kind
Hey.
of.
We got our comeuppance.
I see a hell of a lot of hunters, so I don't think they're as screwed as people say. But anyway, if they get the vertical jump on me and use the god roll hand cannon, I'm out of luck. But then there's still plenty of paths for success that I could take, like hanging back, not getting into close range situations unless I have a shotgun, which we had in Destiny 1. Anyway, so like there were so many paths to success in Destiny 1. And despite streamers, entitled streamers crying about ability spam and stuff like that, it was really balanced because we had so many paths to success. There were the classes, like in isolation, the classes were balanced, the guns were balanced, we had so many options. Every drop meant, oh, I could get a god roll of this gun, or I could get a god roll of this gun. And some guns were just too badly their stats were too bad to make them good by rolls. But like the number of good guns with the rolls was great enough that you had a huge target to hit as far as like your grind. So if you focus on that one gun, you're going to have a bad time because you might not get it, and it may take you like 6 months to get it. But Destiny 1 had this huge target, so you could throw the dart and you'd hit it somewhere else, and that would be a good gun. If you learn to use it, it would be great. In Destiny 1, they have, instead of 10,000, they have like 190.
There's 60 total weapons, aren't there?
Oh, okay, whatever. That's even worse. You're making my point for me, and that
I disagree with that because in Destiny 1, only certain combinations of perks were useful. The rest were garbage.
well, and that's
on
that's why
shotguns, you wanted rangefinder. If your shotgun didn't have rangefinder, more often than not, you'd either vault it or shard it.
But
Same
yeah.
thing with. I'm just saying, there. Yes, we had all this combination of roles, but there was a much smaller subset of useful roles and useful guns that people use. Like there were some weapons that no one even touched, no matter how good the role was, because it was a crap weapon.
Which, with 10,000 guns available, that's bound to happen. But my counterpoint to that
10,000
would be
rolls or whatever. See,
Well,
I look at it
yeah.
to me, it was like what Mass Effect Andromeda did to their loot pool by diluting it. They added more crap
tiers
out there, more
tiers of
tiers.
weapon.
They added the health regen, all this stuff, and that just diluted the pool, so it was harder to get what you wanted. And that's what Destiny 1 was to me. I never got an IS Luna that I wanted. I got some okay rolls, but I wanted the fake bringer.
Yeah.
And I was in that strike for a long time. Grasp of Malik, the same thing too. I mean, the strike was easy, but I never got a decent one. So
Well, and that's go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that for me, like the loot pool was so diluted that it was very hard to get like a god roll weapon, and everyone was going for it. And at that point, in Destiny, like I wanted a god roll weapons. Yeah, I had okay guns, but I wanted those god rolls because that everyone wanted those. I mean, I remember when the toe shot sniper from Iron Banner was the thing. People would fire their 2 shots, and on their third shot, it would kill you with a toe hit.
The last
Y-
round.
Yeah.
Last round, yeah. I remember. And the shotguns with the range that everyone wanted because they're like sniper shotting you across the map. Exaggeration, exaggeration.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
You
It
start
felt.
the match
Yeah.
up, you hear them 2 shots going off, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, so I'm just like yes, there were random rolls, but like the guns that you wanted and the rolls that you wanted was way smaller than the 10,000 or whatever. I felt, and there were a lot of weapons I never got because I got so much of the other crap. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. So, and that's where I have to kind of qualify what I'm saying with this is how I felt about it
Mhm.
because of my play style. I revel in finding new ways to play or getting better and saying to myself, okay, this is what I'm doing in Crucible and these are my habits. This is wrong. This is the wrong way to do it. What's the right way? And then like experimenting with new guns like so I guess the target is bigger for me. The target that I'm talking about is bigger for me. So yeah, if you focus on just getting an IS Luna, which I did for a while, it sucks. Um, but like that, that's 1 out of 10,000, at least to go from my metaphor or thought process, which you hope you get. But for me, like if you don't like or if you can't get the IS Luna, go for the Imago Loop or go for all of them: the Imago Loop, the IS Luna, the I don't remember I think the default skin is red. I mean, those are hand cannons, and then Hawksaw, Grasp of Malak, and the Rise of Iron one. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah, that's Pulse. And the thing is,
Yeah,
I had good rolls on my Hawksaw. Actually, I had a great roll on my Hawksaw. I think I had some like maybe 2 or 3 decent rolls on the Iron
yeah,
Banner one. But I mean, but my end game at that point was an Imago Loop, a Fake Bringer,
right.
because at that point I had most of the things that I wanted.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it
and
wasn't fun. It
my
wasn't
end
fun,
right.
but
My end game at that point was to succeed in Crucible. And
that's true. It's a good
whenever
point.
I win in Crucible, that feels good or that feels the best. And so if I use a different gun, I'm fine with that. Like
Mhm.
as long as I have something to equip to succeed in Crucible, that's that's okay with me. And that's why I
But
like random rolls. But
yeah, but I mean, but going on your point, D1.
oh, I forgot to mention.
Oh,
I forgot. I was just gonna to talk about the bad rolls, good rolls, because
yeah.
yes, and that was a failing of Destiny 1, and I agree with you. Like they needed more diverse roles. It's like they created a bunch of perks, um, like in vanilla Destiny, and maybe added like 1 or 2 more, or maybe like a set more in like House of Wolves or Taken King, and then they stopped. And then the rest of the 3 years, they had maybe raid perks, and that was it. And that they need to come up with better, more interesting perks, in my opinion. Um,
Well,
and
Destiny 1 perks are so much better than Destiny 2 perks. Like,
I'm not
don't.
going to go into the salt, but yes,
But and kind of go off what you said, and I feel like we're kind of getting way off topic. But Destiny 1 had so many better archetypes of weapons that you could use even if the perks weren't great.
yeah.
Destiny 2 doesn't really have that, I feel.
It
Like I don't feel there are a lot like I don't know. I just feel like there aren't as many weapons that I want to use.
and that's my point. That's the big point about perks. Like perks might suck if you're trying to go for that one god roll, but every other situation it's pretty dang okay and
Yeah.
pretty sometimes pretty good. Like I could use if I didn't have a Hawksaw, I could use the Grasp of Malak or I could use a scout rifle and I'd still have success against those other people. It's not like there's one god roll that you have to get or else you don't succeed. In Destiny 2, there's Uriel's Gift, there's Last Hope, there's
Mida.
Mida,
Mida,
there is um, what's the hand cannon?
rocket launchers.
There's a good hand cannon that I'm not remembering. Better Devils,
Better Devils.
and then the rocket launcher, and that's it.
For
You can tell Kraken plays on PC
PvP,
because
for
he mentions
PvP.
Better Devils.
Well, yeah. Well, and actually, that's one thing I do like about Destiny 2, is that pretty much everything is good in PvE. Unless you're going for straight damage output, then you have like probably the same number of options as the Crucible weapons to go for actual raid DPS. But
Like, yeah, like in the raid, yeah, there's limited weapons. But see, and I feel that that is the fault in D2 of the perks and the mod system.
Yeah.
Because like the recoil on a lot of the guns is stupid compared to Destiny 1. And I assume they want you to use mods, but the mods don't feel impactful at all.
yeah,
Well, this is where I'll chime in on that, and this is where I'm actually going to get into a little bit of my salt about what they're releasing. The mods are so unimpactful to the game
Mhm.
because you can basically your weapon mods right now are +5 kinetic damage, and then what type of burn you want it to have. That's all you get for your weapons. That's basically your only choices. On your armor, you are pretty much forced to spec for recovery, like especially if you're a hunter. Like all your mods basically should be going towards recovery or resilience. Like that's what you need to be putting your mods towards. Like if you have a class item or something like that, yeah, go ahead and throw that, kinetic counterbalance or whatever. But you're really, because I know the way they probably intended it was be like, oh, I want to have like the most stable hand cannon in the world, so I'm going to put all my kinetic mods or kinetic counterbalance on like every piece of armor I have. That's not an option. Like you're really being forced. Like if you want to be effective, you just end up being forced into speccing your armor in a very, very specific way, and there's no freedom of choice really, because I'm going to be honest, I play Hunter, and it's not a lot of fun hiding behind a rock for half the PvP match. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into salt about D2. There's been a lot of talk about it on Reddit and on YouTube. Slayerage has a really great video. Dado has a really great video. There's a couple others. Go out there, watch them. I have a whole lot to be salty about.
Did you see Gadalian's response to mods?
Yes,
That was funny.
that was hilarious
That
and
was
righteous.
hilarious.
That was
I
righteous.
know. He was just like, fuck it. He's like, just fucking fix it. Seriously.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I'm making, is that the mod system could be freaking awesome. Like it could be great, but especially the way it is right now. And if we look at what's coming in these updates, the December 5th and December 12th updates, that doesn't really change. Like the mods, there's still no raid-specific mods, no exotic mods, no. I just want Third Eye. Let's be honest. Like that's the mod I want. But those things aren't happening. How you obtain mods, how you buy mods, where you can get them, all of that sort of stuff is changing. But the core issue of this weapon is boring, I want to try some other perk on it, is not being addressed.
Yeah.
And okay.
So all they did with mods, they're nothing new. It's just a shittier system. Mods are gear perks slapped into mods, and less of them. So you have less gear perks, they're harder to get, and they do less.
Well, if you
And
play
they're
Destiny,
also
they're not
tied
that hard to
behind
get.
boxes, so.
Well, if you want a specific mod, like No Face was saying, like if you want kinetic counterbalance or counterbalance on all your weapons, like that's hard to do. Or excuse me, on all your armor, that's hard to do. You can get like one for your helmet and one for your boots, but like it's not like you have to go grind a lot to just get that one layout or that one set.
Yeah.
So if you're targeting a certain perk to make it actually useful, you have to go do a lot of grinding. And that you have a limited number of mod slots that you can carry, so you have to dismantle a lot of blues. And you can't keep a bunch of purples, and it's like, this is such an exhausting system that isn't even that good. So fix it. I invoke Athalion.
Yeah, and
Agreed.
on that note, like that's obviously the mod system that we all want and the community wants. I think that's a pretty universal thing. We can all admit that's definitely not something we're getting in December. Like those things I read off, that I talked about, that's what we're getting in December, and that's basically it. There's not a ton of changes. And I said this a few podcasts ago, is that if you were expecting Curse of Osiris to come out and fix Destiny 2 and make it, a great grind where you can put hundreds of hours into it and enjoy every minute of it, you're going to hate Curse of Osiris. You're going to be so unhappy come Christmas, like it's just going to be unreal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really feel like people need to temper their expectations, and I guess that's a decent segue into the very nebulous, uncertain, uncharted area of 2018.
Well,
So
I have a quick
yeah, go ahead.
quick little, I guess, thought on why it all sucks, basically, because it's balanced for PvP. Our
Yes.
mods aren't impactful because if they were too impactful, it would unbalance the game for PvP. The Masterworks, like if you look, it's only 10 reload speed, which is what, a couple percentage points.
It's 10%.
Well, what? But is it?
There's 100 in each stat, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you look at the two images on the Bungie thing, one you have, and it talks about having more ammo. One has 33, the next picture has 35. So they're giving you 2 more bullets with whatever the Masterwork perk is. 2 more bullets is not anything,
Nope.
It's game changing, man.
but it's fine for PvP. Like I want 50 bullets with this Masterwork thing, but that would break PvP. So we're only getting 2 bullets. A 10 reload speed. It's that's a mod. A mod gives you like about a 10% reload speed, which is kind of noticeable, but you don't notice it in your play. I notice Outlaw when that perks. Like, why can't this thing give me Outlaw? Or something a little less than Outlaw. It's like if because it's all balanced towards PvP, we can't feel too powerful because that would unbalance that side of the game.
Yeah.
So like I want them to get crazy. I want them to, but this
To balance PvP and PvE separately.
Yeah, I think that's where they need to go. If they want their PvP, that's fine, but PvE in D1 was fun. Being able to chain supers was amazing. It's harder to do that in Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, and it takes longer to get to that point where you can chain supers. That's why Masterworks, for me, the best thing about it is the orb generation. Is it going to be significant and enough to actually get a super? I'm betting you it won't be, because then it'll be on balance for PvP.
That'd probably be like an extra orb.
Well, they could go crazy on that because you don't get multi-kills that often. If it depends on if it's multi-kills or multi-assists.
It says multi-kills.
If it's just kills, that's actually kind of hard to do in Destiny 2. If you that means you have to get the last hit on 2 people or more.
Yeah.
For PvE, that's super easy to do. There's tons of trash mobs that you can go out and kill 2, 3 of. Hopefully, I'm hoping that this is them saying, okay, let's let them let her rip. Like, let's chain supers and let's just kill everything all the time. I'm hoping. I don't have.
Yeah,
me too.
I'm looking at the images, and if they wanted that, they would have given us maybe like a 50 reload speed. Or instead of 35 bullets, they would have given us 50 bullets.
I'm talking just about the orb generation, but
36.
Yeah.
No, I just want Outlaw on everything. Just everything. Just put Outlaw on it.
I want Firefly. I don't want this stupid dragon shit that we have now. I want Firefly.
Like, just take off high caliber rounds and give me Firefly. Okay.
No, they're gonna give you the Dragonfly, which is so dumb. It doesn't hit anything.
It's terrible. It's really bad.
God.
I don't understand.
Like I'm still excited. I'm still excited for the release. I want to play more Destiny. I like Destiny. This is more Destiny. So give it to me. but I feel like I said earlier, none of it's gonna be impactful. Masterwork sounds cool, but will it be impactful? I don't know.
It's a start.
So I'm gonna veer off a little here and go off what Ronan's saying. This is what I'll say is that honestly, I see between Curse of Osiris, which comes out on December 5th with those updates, the December 12th updates, I'm calling 15, maybe 20 hours before you basically have everything, is what you'll get out of Curse of Osiris. Which, if you think that's worthwhile, that's your own call. I think it's worthwhile. I'm getting the expansion. I think I'll have fun with it for those 15 to 20 hours, and it just kind of comes back to like finding tacos to play with, and then that is going to be what's fun for me.
Let's go.
But this is what I will say negative about Bungie regarding all these updates. When we get the release on December 12th, in my opinion, that is the game not only that we probably should have gotten at release of Destiny 2, it is probably the game they intended to give us on September 5th, 3 months ago, for Destiny 2. In my opinion, all this stuff, because you can't tell me that they created, developed, coded, tested all these systems in the past month and a half, right? Because they admit, if you listen to the podcast, all that sort of stuff, they admit that when the PC release came out, it was like all hands on deck. Let's make sure that we do not this PC release. So you're not going to convince me they were working on anything other than PC release when PC release was coming out. You've got all these quotes from like before Destiny 2 released about like the Better's Devils. What makes my 10th Better Devils, worthwhile getting? Well, now we have Masterwork, all sort of stuff. I really think a lot of these, anything that is client side, is probably what they intended to release in Destiny 2. And so I'm really upset. Not upset, that's not the right word. Disappointed in Bungie that one, I'm guessing all this sort of stuff they wanted to give us, that they haven't communicated with us that, hey, yeah, we really do want to give this stuff to you, that it wasn't released in the initial release, and that because of it wasn't released, we're not really getting anything substantial addressing our real concerns that we've been talking about on Reddit, on the Bungie forums, all that sort of stuff, because they've been finishing up these things they were already working on. Now, will we get a lot of the stuff we want in 2018? Maybe. I don't know. That's hard to say. But I really feel like we're just getting stuff that should have been given to us and probably was intended to be given to us in September.
Yep.
I agree.
100%. All right. So, anybody else have anything else I want to say before we kind of wrap this up?
I would like to
I'm
read
sad.
the next year updates, which means these are the things that they had
right.
planned but haven't completed testing or have just been added to the priority list. They're going to be redesigning XP after the whole XP debacle. They relieved the limit. They definitely relaxed the limit and turned off the system to what's that called?
Throttle.
Reduction. Yeah, throttling. Thank you. They removed the throttling, but they said that they're going to now redesign the XP system so that the actual XP gains that you get will be scaled differently, and that's really where they should have done that. I think that system that they had going was, if it wasn't an evil way to get people to buy more Bright Engrams, then I think it was just a lazy system to fix a badly designed XP experience. But anyway, better incentives for players who do prestige raids. That's planned for January.
Yay.
We've got private matches. We've got ranked PvP. That's coming. That's their number one priority, quote unquote. Continued improvements to Iron Banner and faction rallies, cool, and uniqueness of rewards, great. Changes to the mod economy. Hopefully they obey
Please.
Gathalion. Yep. I think we're all in agreement there. Ongoing improvements to exotics, including adjustments to reduce instances of duplication. Oh, that's exotics duplication. I should have just read it.
Yeah.
And an emote interface, the good one, to actually let people equip up to 4 exotic emotes at the same time. Or I don't know if it's exotic or just all emotes. Anyway.
I think emotes.
Yeah, just emotes.
Yeah, which I can't wait. They should have had that in Destiny 1. 3 years ago.
So I'm gonna throw it out there that in one of the Curse of I think it was the first Curse of Osiris trailer, they showed that selfie emote.
Oh yeah.
If we do not get that selfie emote on the 5th, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like I want that. I really want that.
I'm confident you'll get
if
it.
that's been cut from the game or pushed to the back burner, like I'm flying to Washington and having some words with Bungie or Oregon or wherever the hell they are.
You know how you'll
Good
get
luck-
it though,
good luck
right?
with that.
Loot boxes, man. Loot crates. Eververse Ingrams. That's how you get it. Good luck.
Am I gonna get a random rolled emote?
Good luck with that.
Random roll.
If I can
perks?
get a perk on my Sparrow for a cup holder, I think I'd be okay.
Nah.
That's all I want. That's not much to ask for.
It's a cup holder
Yeah, Bungie.
with a
Just
cup.
a cup holder.
No, yeah, it's a cup holder with a cup that auto consumes the buff consumables that you have. So like
Yeah, absolutely.
auto loads
Yeah,
up
just-
Crucible.
Yo, throw like 3 coins in there, and I'm good for like what 8? That's like 12 hours. I'm good, man. I played Disney for 12 hours.
Oh, speaking of sparrows and useless perks, the only useless perk on a sparrow is the quick load one. All the other ones are crap.
Yo.
Well, we don't
Thank
have
you, Bungie.
Sparrow racing, so like, what's the point of the other ones? Like,
I know, right? I don't need a Sparrow that goes 160. Like,
although
Wow.
I don't think I've read any of the perks on any of the sparrows because I didn't care.
'Cause that's the
One
only one that
one
matters.
reloads your guns.
which
for
might be
you.
useful.
Wait, what?
I guess.
One reloads your guns while you're driving it.
I mean, I guess in public events, if you have to travel or like the Glimmer Drill or something, I guess that's useful. Maybe?
I reload before I get on my sparrow though, doesn't everybody? I mean,
I think it's just
I-
you.
I'm trying to, give a bit of the doubt and figure out a place where this would be useful, but I'm having a hard time.
I've gotten into too many situations, especially in the prestige, where I'll go up against a yellow bar with an empty gun, and I'm like shit, and I die. So I've gotten used to reloading.
You're like the guy that checks his tires before he goes on a trip.
Dude,
Well, you
I
should
don't want to.
Hold
I
on,
don't want to
kid, safety
crash.
first.
always check your fluids and your tire pressure before you drive more than like 30 miles.
If you saw the kind of cars I drive, you'd understand why I always did
Yeah.
that.
No, I had junker. Actually, I probably technically still have a junker. My car is over 15 years old, and that was the new car that I bought. When I got a good job, I was like, oh yay, I get to upgrade. 2004.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm still driving around on 98, so I mean.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So, anybody else got anything else they want to say before we wrap this up?
Oh, I will. I am going to rectify myself and say that
Right.
Kraken was right. It is 190 weapons. I don't know where I got 60.
Oh,
from,
okay.
So, but it's 190 weapons.
Maybe you just only have 60 weapons, and Kraken's got the other one.
Maybe I'll only just use 60 of them. I
You
don't
heard
know.
it here. No Face said Krakenfall is right.
This time.
Timestamp that shit.
I'll get you next time.
All right, guys. So we'd like to thank you for listening to the 7th episode of DeltaCo Fireteam Chat. There's a couple places you can get a hold of us. If you want to contact us with stories or suggestions, you can email us at deltacofireteamchat@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Twitter at deltaco_71. And I guess that'll be it. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
So sometimes it's more soupy, sometimes it's more saucy.
Yeah. Oh, and I do maybe half the packet of the sauce or whatever. And if it's more soupy, I like throwing an egg in there at the end because the egg will cook in the heat. I like ramen.